Make it.
What's your warmest jacket?
My moose hide jacket.
Do you have a moose hide jacket?
You know the one.
Do you have a jacket with a moose on it?
You know the one with the antlers?
That'd be sweet to
Remember
have.
last year
You
when I was in the
could
woods?
use the antlers to pull the hood up.
When I was in the woods, when I got trapped and I had to kill the moose with my bare hands. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That moose hide jacket.
It doesn't exist. Only in your dreams.
Yeah.
What's your actual warmest jacket?
Just my winter jacket.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a normal winter jacket.
Mm-hmm.
You?
I have this old Hudson's Bay wool jacket I got at Value Village that's incredible. I don't wear it that often. It needs to be dry cleaned. But I have a number of warm jackets that we're going to be busting out here very soon.
Oh, we got lots of good weather ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Still leaves on the trees.
Beautiful leaves.
It's one of the nicest times of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Here.
And your favorite smells are all around
Lots
us.
of good
favorite
smells.
sounds. Yeah, it's a sensory journey out there.
What are your favorite sounds other than Avery Dakin?
That's a great segue. She definitely is on my list of favorite sounds now. What else do I like for sound? I mean, sound is a weird experience for somebody who's mostly deaf. So I like soothing things, soothing sounds.
You have one ear that's good, though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing comes to mind that's like, yeah, the same as a scent or a taste or something. Do you? Do you have a...
I don't have like a big list like written out.
Yeah.
Like I think I have a list of my favorite smells somewhere written down.
You have a tendency to do this PS of like, ask me a question and then I ask you and you're like, I don't know. Like, well, you like push me to have answers for these obscure things.
No, I'm just saying I don't have a list.
Assuming that you must have something in mind we're getting to.
I don't have a written list. I have lots of favorite sounds, though.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them would just be nature based.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Soothing sounds.
Yeah. And well, I guess if you just count music as a sound,
Sure.
that would be my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sound of certain individual instruments, like a beautiful piano being played, great guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of music-based ones obviously would be very, very high up there. But like hearing George meow or something's a nice sound.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah.
Familiar, a homey thing.
Yeah.
I don't think we asked Avery if she had a favorite sound.
I don't think so.
But I like that you said aside from her music now, because absolutely her sound to me is very soothing. She has this very soulful kind of smoky bar vibe to her voice, and I was taken aback by it, to be honest with you. We talk about this a little bit in the interview because she is this very youthful, glowy, vibrant young woman, and then she's got this rich, deep voice to her, and that contrast is just kind of surprising.
And we say that to her in the episode, and again, don't want it to sound like you're judging a book by its cover. So you look like this, you should sound like this. Or
of course,
you're young, you should sound like this. So it is surprising though. She does have just such a sweet. She's a sweet person, and her aura is very warm and sweet. And then she has this, like you said, like a sultry sound to her.
Yeah, there's power in there, and it's. I say all of this. It's a compliment, or I hope it's received in that way. That's how we felt.
100% a compliment. She's incredible.
Yeah,
and
she's
blew
incredible.
us away.
Mm-hmm. And she has tons of experience, education. She's teaching young upcoming musicians.
Yeah.
She knows the whole package. You know, she can do recording and producing and writing and composition, passing that knowledge on to others. She works well in a group. She just comes at this with so much potential and with all of her heart. You can just tell that she's very passionate and in it, you know?
Yeah, she cares about other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very big thing when you encounter people who just put that much care and compassion out to the world. They're just so easy to be around, and you want to be around someone like Avery because she's so kind, and she just happens to be a very talented musician as well.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to Make It with Mike and Kristen,
where creative people talk about what they make and what making it means to them.
You didn't even have to flex this week. Maybe I'll flex just yeah.
Might as well.
This
flex,
one, I know. This is like what the bodybuilders do, though, isn't it?
I don't know that one.
This? We're not bodybuilders. We can still flex our big muscles.
I got
though.
a hex bar from Amazon.
Yes.
Amazon Prime days.
What's a hex bar for people that don't know?
It's for you stand in the bar. It's like a hexagon shape, and you put weights on the end. So if you're doing regular like a deadlift or something, you have to bend over forward. This you can kind of grab it from the sides.
So it's meant to help you with your form.
Yeah, it's easier on your back and your knees, and it kind of.
And we're of the age where we need to be easier on our backs and knees.
But I've just you see online people talking about longevity and the people who have the, I guess, air quote, best lives, who can stay healthy longer into their lives, have to be strong. So, and a big thing is just being able to lift things. So I've just seen so much of this. I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna buy something where I can lift heavy stuff. I've never
you
done
should just carry me around. I think
you're too light.
I don't know. I don't know if you could lift me with the proper form, but you firemen carry me around the house if you want.
I've never done a deadlift in my life until this week.
Well, you're doing great. You look stronger.
I'm pretty strong now.
Look pretty strong. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with my yoga, but I'm gonna hop on your hex bar and give it a whirl.
Yeah, it's apparently really good for you. I'm gonna see how I feel after today. I did a bunch. I put the most weight on that I've done yet. So
yeah, good.
Because my back, I've never had a good back. Being a tall, lanky guy, your back's kind of bad. So this should help strengthen it. And I want to be strong and healthy.
You want to have longevity to your life. Yes, as we all should aspire to have.
Yeah.
A good, long, healthy life.
Yeah.
We wish that for all of our listeners. We wish that for this week's guest, Avery Dakin. We wish that for each other.
Pretty much everybody alive. A few people. You can go.
Yeah. A couple of years less, but anywho, let's jump into this fabulous interview with someone I know that you and I have admired from afar, and we've heard so many people say you've got to have Avery on the show.
Yeah.
So we're proud to finally do that, and we certainly can understand why we've had that consistent feedback.
All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. You're going to hear an amazing chat with an amazing young lady, Avery Dakin.
Make it. Doesn't take much. I already cried talking about the Tragically Hip, but yeah, being moved by something I find actually makes me cry more than sadness these days.
Happy emotions make me cry so much.
Yeah. Like, see, even you guys doing your songwriter circle, like seeing people in their element or in their moment, I find that the most moving thing ever of life.
Totally.
Yeah. Maybe that's an artist thing too, where we're just kind of tuned into emotion in a different way. I don't want to give us that credit, but I don't know.
There's something to be said for that. Absolutely.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's all. Artists have to be more tuned into that. That's essentially the epitome of being an artist, is that you can latch on to those emotions and those feelings and create something that can sum it up and give it back to other people. So you have to be perceptive to those powerful moments, or maybe a little softer in times, and that's okay.
Is it something that you feel you turn on and off?
I think when you're a very sensitive person, you kind of have to as a coping mechanism a little bit. So I would say one of my biggest struggles would be kind of dissociation.
Yeah.
Because when you feel it all, there's only so much that you can take. You're kind of at your max capacity sometimes. So if I'm at a show and something will strike me one way or another, like it'll pull you into this place of realness really fast where, you know, you've been kind of holding on a little too tightly. And that release just feels so good.
Right.
You know?
Or even just making art, I think for some creatives is their way of processing all of that emotion that we feel.
Yeah.
I was talking with my therapist this morning about being an empath, which I guess I knew of myself, but not to the extent that it could impact me. And realizing like how much I just want people to feel at ease and comfortable and happy and supported, but to my own detriment at times.
The people-pleasing tendencies.
But I notice this is often a common thing with artists too, that we really, like, we're just tuned into emotion and concerned with one another.
Definitely. Somehow it's so easy to share your truest self through music, but when it really comes to kind of the one-on-one interpersonal situations, maybe you have a tendency to like put yourself in people's shoes too much and kind of take yourself out of your own experience in a way. I have definitely done that. And so
this is something I actually, it's a kind of a nice segue, wanted to ask you about, because an observation I made at the Songwriter Circle with Timothy and Taylor was how kind you were to one another and compassionate and supportive. Like there was just a lot of love in that room. And I know you know one another, but it's something I observe, I would say, in your generation in general. And I'm curious if that's something that you feel was learned behavior or if it's sort of a retaliation perhaps from the generations before you. Like talk about what that means to you.
That's such a good question. I think it's both.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the impulse to counteract a lot of what's going on in our world right now. Yeah, you have to be radically kind and like kind of be the person to set the tone in the room. And then again, like kind of just getting into a space where it's just creative people and finding that same kindness. Yeah, that was like a huge kind of revelation for me, because you think that the music industry is cutthroat and you hear that from like past generations, I guess. And but that has not been my experience at all. And so, yeah, part of it I think is kind of reacting to the world around you that feels really hard, and then coming home in a way to the people who feel like kindred spirits to you. It's been special.
Do you try to put any of that into your music?
Yeah. I want my music to radiate kindness and not necessarily positivity all the time, but I have been told that a lot of my songwriting just feels very pure and, you know, joyful. And that's been like so important to my artistic practice, is like, especially again now, like, you know, it kind of feels like the world's falling apart. It kind of feels like, you know, my generation, we won't be able to have kids maybe, or it might not be the right choice, or like how to spend our money, all of the things that we all just took for granted kind of as younger kids. Now everything carries so much weight behind it and our choices are really important. So yeah, kind of trying to practice like that radical joy and kindness to other people has been my big philosophy, I would guess, to say, like kind of getting into the music industry, trying to make friends first and let the music also speak for that as well.
Do you see music as a way to potentially change some of those negative aspects, or is it just a way to point out what's happening and be a voice for those people?
I think both as well. Like obviously using your voice and your platform to talk about these things is not just important, but it's actually essential in my mind. Like that's our responsibility. Yeah. And I think that sometimes it is hard as an artist to like speak on these things without coming off maybe preachy, or like you kind of feel like you know all the answers when really you don't. And I have definitely tried to write a song or two kind of talking to more explicitly about some of the issues in the world. Like certainly Palestine has been on my mind for the past 2 years. And it's like that kind of thing it's very hard to write about in a like accurate and the right way, I would say. But yeah, like additionally, there are artists who have been doing like fundraisers and, you know, hosting GoFundMe's or mutual aid stuff. And I have been, you know, kind of in contact with some kids in Gaza as well. So like, you know, whether it's like donating what I made off a show, like to them so that they can get their like winter clothes right now. Sometimes you don't have to always feel the pressure to make an artistic statement when like your actions kind of behind the scenes can back it up, but I still think it's incredibly important to speak about that stuff.
I love this point. It's something I was talking to with a friend of mine last night who is an entrepreneur. She lives in Ottawa, and her business has kind of developed a bit of an identity for inclusion and speaking up against things, which is really positive. But she was saying once you kind of enter that world, there's a bit of an expectation that not only are you taking a position on things, but you are being vocal about it, and how that can add a lot of weight to you as the person running the business, but the business itself. And so are you, with the intention of including everyone, excluding some because of the stance or position that you're taking?
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear from both of you really how that may fit into your songwriting, but just you as a entertainer, as a public figure, like how much responsibility should we take? Because the conversation then led to, what's the end point? There's no way to have the capacity to take interest and educate yourself in every single issue that people might be concerned about. So how do you kind of navigate that?
You know, I completely agree with Nina Simone that like it is the artist's job to reflect the times that they're in. And like that could mean a lot of different things. So I think we can kind of take some of the pressure off ourselves in that way, knowing that like we are a community and we all kind of carry that responsibility and weight, but kind of, setting yourself up to, or I guess positioning yourself as the one who, you know, has the answers, or the one who they're going to say something really poignant about that. Like, I think truthfully, I think that impulse kind of more lies in like saviorism in a sense. Yeah, I think when the right thing comes to you, it'll flow, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I do believe that, you know, as a creative, we all are constantly taking in, you know, the stimuli and the things in the world and having them kind of percolate in your mind for a long time. And then usually something will come of it. But to have the pressure on, it completely kind of takes you out of that authentic place.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And how would you talk? Because you have done a lot of fundraising and advocacy work, and I don't know, like, how do you choose where you put that energy, or do you feel the responsibility of that, or have you been able to separate a little bit?
I think as we started off this conversation speaking about how artists have that bigger sense of feeling and empathy sometimes, and it is hard when the world's on fire, and I don't know, of course you feel for people in Gaza, you feel for people all around the world. There's a million different circumstances where there's horrible things happening, and if you try to, I guess, like, be a savior, it's impossible. You can make changes that can help particular causes, but if you focus constantly on all these bad things, it is probably not a good thing for your mental health. Like, of course, be aware of what's going on and do everything you can. And for us in the past, we've done a lot of fundraising for things closer to home, like Feed Nova Scotia. Like, it was just, I don't know, a simple thing that we supported. Like, we don't want to see people hungry in our own province, so we started raising money for that, and I think we've raised over $15,000 or $20,000 for that. And then just like we'd pick different charities. Like this week, where something came up where it made us think of Adson. Is that how I say it? House. I can't remember if someone just sent us a link and like, oh yeah, let's. This is a good charity. Or the SPCA. Like, I don't know. It was kind of just in this period of time when we were really involved in charity work and fundraising, we were kind of just whatever things came to us in that moment. Like, I think you kind of mentioned that, and again, if we could raise money for everything, we certainly would, but you have to just pick something that reflects your morals and values. And we in that time when we were doing a lot of that, it was a lot of things that were close to home for us.
And that kind of speaks to what you were saying earlier. And when I was asking about this generational observation, is that it's just kind of within you to be kind. And I think for me, my advice for anyone who may be asking themselves this question of how do I pick and choose, that's the answer, is just starting with yourself. And that's as complicated really as it needs to be, is just to show up with kindness in the world.
Absolutely.
But I really just see that being very natural for you, but also many of your peers who I've met.
Yeah. I think like now, obviously, everybody can put their opinions online, and I think that's increased all of our sense of responsibility probably to one another and to, you know, the people that we don't know. But a lot can be said for the negative powers of social media. But, you know, it's when I get on there and I see people speaking up about these things, or like you said, you know, raising funds for people like in your own backyard, that kind of thing. Like, yeah, it's do what you can do and don't be paralyzed by all of the other things that you maybe can't impact, right? So that's the way.
Yeah, as artists and musicians especially, we have a platform. So, and not everyone chooses to use that platform in this way, but if that is really what resonates in your heart and you want to help people, you can use that platform. We're lucky to have that. Like I feel privileged to have that platform, and we've played shows even where we've got negative feedback for doing something. Like a few years back, we had a Canada Day show, and we posted we're playing wherever it was, and some people said, how could you be playing on Canada Day? And I'm like, well, we're actually going to be raising money for the Chani Wenjack Fund for Indigenous people in Canada. And we could stay home as a protest and not do anything, or we could go out and do what we do, raise $1,000 and give that to a cause. So I don't think it's always a good thing to sit back and just your protest be not doing
Abstaining.
something.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good to take that action and use that platform in a positive way, even if some people think the best way to go about it is the exact opposite. But again, to use that platform in a positive way, you can do things like that. Play a show where maybe some bands, their protest is different, and that's fine. But ours was, let's go do what we do and get people to donate to a fund, because we have a stage, a literal stage we're on, where we can ask for people to do that, and it worked. Like people were excited to give money to that, and then we make a donation, and that money goes to help people that wouldn't have happened otherwise. So I think it's just what reflects your morals and values.
And intention. I
Yeah.
think there's a lot to be said for intention.
It's better to be like an imperfect advocate and be a consistent advocate and ally than to take the route of, I'm not going to make change, or there's always going to be somebody mad at me for doing something. Like you said, intention is really important. Impact is really important too. And I think we can hold all of that at one time for sure.
Yeah, I love that. When you first started making music or seeing maybe a vision for yourself entering this world, what were you thinking about then? Was it maybe more about play or more just about seeing where things go? Like take yourself back to even younger Avery.
Yes. So like my background in music, like I started learning piano when I was like 6 or 7.
You're from Halifax, right?
Yeah, I grew up like in Dartmouth and then Halifax. Yeah. But yeah, so I kind of came up through a more rigid school of thought in the music side. And so then like I went to Acadia and I studied composition there, along with classical piano still. But
what did you mean by the more rigid school of thought?
Well, so yeah, I guess like classical sensibilities are much more rigid than the creativity that I kind of live in now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of perfectionism certainly was like a huge boundary, I guess, for me. And also like, I guess the idea that certainly in my composition, like part of the degree, there was kind of the encouragement to take your emotions out of it and kind of maybe use compositional techniques like serialism or stuff that really has no kind of emotional ties whatsoever, which I think is very valuable and cool still. But for me, I just felt myself always turning to the song. So I wrote a song circle about my grandma's passing, how like going through her life. And that was kind of my way of writing a song but making it kind of contemporary classical. But as soon as I graduated, I had started writing these songs in a songwriting elective course that I took. And I just, it was not super playful. It was kind of more analytical at first. I was thinking like, what makes a good song? Like, I want to tap into my emotions. Like, I want to still talk about my insecurities and my self-doubt and stuff and romantic misadventure, everything. But I was really still concerned about like being good and having people tell me you are good. Because like that was my only kind of point of reference on if I was good or not in music was if somebody was giving me validation from the outside. So like, I kind of felt like that intrinsic motivation was never there for me, but it was because I was studying the wrong thing. Like I should have been, I think, like at NSCC doing like starting a band and that kind of thing. So I just really felt that really strong pull to bring it into a place of more play and freedom and just kind of seeing what comes up rather than calculating what will be the most cool looking, sounding song with the most cool looking artwork or whatever. It's not about that. And so now, I would say my approach is so different.
Well, when you're in school, you're literally being graded.
Exactly.
Like here's a letter grade for how well this song was received.
I can't imagine being taught to play without emotion because the only thing I know is 100% to play entirely with all the emotion you have in you. Like that's the only thing I know about music.
There's something really sorry, I just saw a delivery truck pull in. There's something really curious about
very close to the house.
Very close to the house in the car. But I think so far we're good. The doorbell might ring, but we'll just ignore it. Yeah, I think having not really talked about this with anyone before too, I do find that very interesting. I understand, like, if you think of, say, an Olympic athlete that's training, there would have to be a certain mindset and discipline. And if it's proven effective, so be it. This is what we're going to pass along. But with music and creativity, it almost feels counterintuitive to feel that you paid money for somebody to teach you to do this.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, like, I think probably in every music school now, there's like 2 separate streams. And I had a ton of profs who were incredibly creative and had that emotional piece as well. And so it's kind of like an identity crisis within the actual community. Maybe that's speaking out of turn. Like, I don't know if other people felt that way necessarily, but I could really see the difference in sensibilities. And so, like certain things, it makes sense. There are like empirical like things to tell you whether you kind of completed it or not, for sure. But in the songwriting class, what I really appreciated was like, there's kind of this set of loose rules or techniques that you can use, but at the end of the day, there's really no mark for that. Like you showed up creatively, you pass kind of thing.
So was there this sense of freedom and discovery when you found yourself in a band and were like, oh my gosh, I can say whatever I want. I can wear whatever I want.
Dude, I have always, like, since I was like old enough to think consciously, like I just wanted to make music in a band. Like I always thought, I was just hoping that like some of my friends might learn instruments and that we could do it. And they were like, no, So it took me, some time to not only to like meet people in a music community because I had already been like at school and stuff, but then to, actually really kind of boil it down to like, these are my friends. These people believe in what I'm doing. Like that was just so huge. To think that maybe there is like a community for me, for my music.
Yes.
And I just felt like it's like nothing I've ever felt before. Like, honestly, it just is like being held by these people. They are open to your ideas. They kind of follow you and they affirm that like you're the leader and that we believe in you. We're here for you. And they say that all the time in my band. Like I'll say like, oh, should we do this or should we do that? And they're like, I don't know, Avery, it's your band. Like, you tell us and we will do it.
Yeah.
And that's just been massive for like my confidence and for the amount of joy that I feel in creating because I know that they're going to receive that with love. So it's been amazing.
That's
honestly.
amazing.
So great. Did that sense of leadership come naturally to you?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say the biggest thing that I struggled with would be like, essentially just being like socialized as a woman and kind of feeling that self-doubt in, I guess, my knowledge or my technical like playing skills. even to, say what you think. Like sometimes that feels like a huge leap. So at first, there was definitely a tendency to kind of waffle or to leave it to the group or, but then I discovered that I quite enjoy leading a band and I enjoy leading people. Like I'm a music teacher, so I lead like music class with kids and stuff. So like it comes naturally, but it's, kind of your socialization will still kind of get in the way sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll just point out that you're nominated for an award
Yes.
for your ultimately leadership and educating others. So
thank you.
I think you found your spot.
Yeah.
I remember there was
that
a
way.
time, I don't know if you were maybe recording a band here or it was one of the first times I saw Mike kind of in this leadership role. Like I knew he was going to band practice, of course, but I'm not there.
Yeah.
But I just happened to be kind of a fly on the wall and was just, it was the first time I saw you in that light and I was like, okay, like he's got this. He is a true, you were such a natural leader. You still showed up with respect, but it felt very like a confidence in you that I hadn't necessarily seen before, which I suppose is required when you're running the show.
Well, you have a vision of how you want it to be. And when you see something that's not fitting into that, whether it's the way someone plays something or an energy on stage, like you're just trying to craft that as a team. Like this is our team. We're going into the trenches together. We have to be on the same page and have that same vision. And it's playing sports actually helps a lot with that too. Like when you have a group of people going towards the same goal and you have to work as a team and you have to give feedback without being an arsehole. You can't just be mad if someone makes a mistake all the time. You have to understand that everybody approaches things in different ways and they may have a different idea that could be better than your own as well. You have to be open to other people's ideas and how that can be a way to progress things further and in a better way. So you're listening, you're like at a rehearsal, there's so much, like you're playing your own parts, but you're listening to everything that's happening around you. And sometimes you're making more mistakes because you're tuned into what everyone else is doing. And you're just trying to make sure that, you're all rising together.
How did you find your people?
So, okay, how did I find my people? There were a couple like iterations, I guess, of the band, but the current crew is locked in. So Matt, my partner and drummer, I met him through like playing a Fringe Fest show.
Okay.
So that was a musical connection. Tevin as well on guitar went to Acadia. So we knew each other from that and then kind of reconnect. We didn't know each other well, but we just saw each other around a lot and played shows together. And eventually one day he was like, this is crazy that you haven't even asked me to be in your band yet. Like, what are we waiting for? So I was like, oh, right. True. So then there is, I think Joel came in before Dylan. So Joel, I just like saw him around. Like he was at jazz night at the local and we got to know each other. And we were kind of involved in some like advocacy work together for like a homeless encampment at one time as well. So I definitely I love his personality. I think he's a great guy. And so I was like, come on in. And Dylan, I met Dylan on trombone. We were playing in like this little back shed, like cover band situation. We never really performed or anything, but that was with Dylan and my bass player, Henry, who has passed. So I met Henry through my producer at the time, Mark Bashinsky. And he he's this guy who's in a bunch of cool bands like 20 years ago and he doesn't play much, but he likes the songs and he played on the EP and then, that was the rest was kind of history. And then Alex Callahan is now on bass for us because he plays in June Body with Matt.
Okay.
And I love him to death. And he's just like, talk about like kind people who are immensely talented. Like, I just feel very lucky to have this crew.
Yeah. Well, you've seemed to have attracted them all in very different ways too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
What goals did you have for your musical career when you were entering Acadia for music?
Oh,
What
man.
did you see your career in life as?
I had no clue.
Yeah.
I knew I needed to do music. Like I was thinking music therapy, composition. I could, compose film scores or do arranging for artists, and I do that. Like I've arranged strings for my friend Carmel Michael, and I've done some like podcast scoring as well.
Oh, cool.
So hit me up.
Yeah, little wink, wink there.
you got the music covered. But I guess I was just thinking I would kind of cobble together that kind of stuff, and then
But performing wasn't on your mind, though?
Not
really?
Wow.
I was like really strongly of the mindset that just was not for me. Like I was not the type of person who would be like interesting really to watch, or like I had always felt so drawn to performing. Like as a teenager and a preteen, I was writing songs and performing them like in Chester at the Folksel and stuff. Like I wanted it very badly, like at that time. And then I think like I got really beat down just like through my teenager to young adult life. Just kind of like not fitting in, or just, kind of feeling like, I might not be the most compelling person for that kind of thing, but I still have talent like behind the scenes. That's like definitely where I'm meant to be. And I told myself that for a few years until I really started to sense that I wasn't like sinking into the world of composing in the same way as like some of my peers, and that I was so drawn to like the more emotional songwriting. Yeah. So my goals completely, whatever they were before, like I kind of threw them out the window and didn't really look back at all. But I use those skills like every day. So, it's important to learn that stuff and to feel like somewhat of an authority on, now I get to arrange all the stuff for my albums, and it's a full like in-house thing. And
yes,
I think like it's important to trust other artists as well. Like that's not to say that I'm not like asking, like my bandmate Dylan is an amazing arranger too. He's arranged stuff for the band and everything. But it's cool to feel like you have that ultimate kind of final control over that stuff.
Let's talk about your sound. And I hope this comes across in the right way. But so before I heard you, I heard a million people saying, "Oh, you got to hear Avery Dakin. She's amazing." And so your name was floating around a lot, and I don't know, I just never got a chance to listen to you. But I knew you were very well respected and highly regarded. And then you came to the songwriter circle, and I did not expect you to sound like you sounded.
Oh.
So
I would say the same, and hope that's not like judging the book by its cover. It's not that. It's like, your sweetness.
There's so much soul.
Yes.
Like you could be on the Motown label in the 70s kind of thing.
Wow.
Like I just didn't expect you to sound the way you sounded. And again, I hope that comes off in a positive way.
I appreciate it.
And you blew us both away.
Aww.
Like again, I knew you were going to be awesome, and just had no idea what your sound's going to be like. But it's so soulful, and there's so much just groove there. Like, what did you grow up listening to, and where
were
did
you
these
Aretha
influences?
Franklin in a former life?
Where did these influences come from?
Well, like certainly Motown. And old R&B and soul and stuff.
Were your parents into that?
Yeah, my mom, like, when we'd be on a road trip, or she'd be cleaning, or just, be playing around the house. And like sometimes we used to do this thing in the winter when it was really dark, in the mornings before school, and we were really depressed, where she'd like throw on a song and we'd all just dance for like the 3 minutes that the song was playing. And that was like kind of the way we'd start our day every now and again.
Nice.
Smart.
But it was always like something Motown, or it was like always Aretha. And, so definitely that has been a huge, like the biggest influence in my life, but certainly like a lot of, just pop as well is I've always grown up listening to pop and feeling kind of like that's my guilty pleasure, but I stand 10 toes down on that now. Like it's good shit.
Oh, I like that phrase too.
Yeah.
And there's something actually quite interesting for you to choose pop, I would say, because that, in my very humble opinion, is what would set you apart, because you have this old soul wisdom to you, and in your songwriting and in your sound. and pop is your genre, which may have this more of an identity or reputation for not necessarily representing those voices.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think like it has been, say hard, like I'm incredibly privileged, but it's been like a little weird to maybe carve out like my spot here. Certainly, kind of sitting in a spot where it's not modern like hip hop production, R&B. It's not super in the camp of like the old, Aretha stuff either, like sonically in the recordings and stuff. It still sounds modern. But yeah, it's been cool. Like, it's just cool to think that like I get to travel and go meet other artists who, make music in the same vein. And on the other side of the coin, like I was just telling you about playing with Lizard Hips, which are like, they're like a psychedelic, like funk rock band. Like it's so cool that they asked me to play with them. Like it just kind of worked somehow.
Yes.
And so, even though maybe there's not a ton of really deep similarities between my music and someone else in the same kind of sphere, like I think, it's more exciting that way. Like I want to make sure that I'm not going in a direction just to kind of fit in, I guess, or I'm just trying to make something that sounds exactly like me. And I feel like everybody should do that. Yeah, that's what makes music cool.
And it's good not to pick a sound and like, oh, I want to sound like that. You are capturing who you are, and there's elements of that old school sound and the newer sound, but it's uniquely you, and that's what the beautiful thing is about music. Every artist has the opportunity to define who they are and create that sound and image, and what you're doing is really beautiful, and you should not be trying to conform to anything. Just do whatever makes sense to you and what where your heart takes you.
It's so, I feel like, now that like I have my album out, my first album, that was so like about me and about my growth and stuff, but now kind of looking outward, that's kind of what I wrote my next collection of songs about, is like just how to, I guess, just remain yourself in this world. And when you kind of feel like you're laboring like at every point, as an artist, your work is often like devalued. Like, we're expected to like make this high quality art and then also like make little videos online and stuff all the time. Like there's so much to it. And that's just one example, obviously. But like if you can kind of have that North Star, like it really just does make all of that worthwhile. And you can keep, that music at the forefront. Like that's what it's about, for sure, for me.
When you start the process of creating a new body of work, so not just I'm going to write a song today maybe, or I kind of feel inspired to do this, but when you have the intent of I'm going to start working on a new album, do you decide at the outset that this is thematically what I would like for it to say? Or are you pulling back on, I wrote this song 3 years ago and want to run with that? Like, what's that look like for you?
So I have not decided that at all.
Okay.
Yeah. I would love to write a concept album someday.
Yeah.
But I think there's just a lot of magic in like watching the songs. So to your other part of your question, no, I haven't pulled on any older songs because I could have for sure, but I wanted to just see what all came out for this. And it's, just so happened that a lot of the, at least in my mind, a lot of the themes work well together. And yeah, so I didn't decide, but then it dawned on me one day that this was all really, working together. And now I'm kind of at the part where I'm deciding like album order and artwork and visualizers and all of that, which like means so much to me for my artistry as well. So like, it's so exciting. I went through and kind of wrote like, okay, these are the colors, themes, figures, things, places, like everything to do with each song. And then like realizing like boom, 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 like these are all the same in a way. Like they still came from like that deeper place that I'm considering these things. Yeah, like inside.
Yeah. And so the album is complete as far as
it's
recording
not
the music?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
It's been cool because like for Bloom, my first album, I was definitely pulling on older songs. Like I had just kind of tweaked them or whatever. And so right now, like I'm almost still mid-writing process while recording because new ideas are always coming. And of course, like I had a huge loss in April. And so like that completely changed the trajectory of the album.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I'm grieving through music right now. And like, so who knows? Like who knows when I'll be done writing? I don't feel like I'm done yet.
Did that experience make you question anything about where you were in your life with, be it your art or just a human?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I realized that
this is losing your bass.
Yes. Yeah. My bass player Henry. Mm-hmm. Let me think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the main thing for me is that I realized that love is the only thing that we're here to do. And so, yeah, just trying to show up in my relationships a little bit better than before and, you know, just appreciate this experience of making music with my best friends. And
you've really continued to honor him.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm sorry that you went through that. I feel like Kleenex after all. These are the things that ultimately shape us and support us and make us who we are. And for that to translate, I would say so beautifully for you is in service to his memory.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think too, like, certainly kind of on the mental health side of things, I'm just seeing, you know, what the gaps are, I guess, even more than I ever have before as somebody who has like definitely struggled with my own mental health, like through my life, but kind of just wanting to, get more involved in that kind of advocacy as well, because like, how can you expect somebody who's depressed to like seek out their own care and actually have to like fully advocate for themselves? And I've like written a lot of music about my own mental health, but I think that's in the forefront of my mind. Just again, like kind of thinking of the band as not just my friends, but like they also work for me, and how like part of my kind of responsibility is making sure that they're okay, and that like, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just a person. Like I can't help them like with their mental health care, but I can make sure they're paid well. Like I can make sure that they're cared for, that they're heard. Like the music doesn't always come first. Like it really is about like fostering that, because they're my family, like,
yes,
at this point. So,
and there's such a level of respect. I will say, do you know Christina Martin, musician?
Bit, yeah.
She's a close friend of mine and have had the honor of working with her as well. And that is something that she holds to the utmost importance in her work and within her band, is that people are paid well and treated as professionals. And I just admire that so much, because sometimes in the creative industries, we're the last to get paid. We're the last to be considered, like, oh, well, if you love what you're doing, then like, oh, you're just out for a good time, or maybe you'll volunteer, or like, and I hope that, excuse me, I hope that's changing. I think this idea of exposure is a little outdated, and we all know that. And people don't always know. Like, I'm asked for donations constantly. Like, can you donate a painting? Can you And I don't mind that. It's my way of being able to help, because I can't always give cash. So yes, I'm happy and thankful that you have recognized me. There's sometimes an imbalance of also supporting me in return. For sure. So I think that there's some of these lessons that are starting, I hope, to be massaged out. And I see that even with things like Music Week, in that they're considering like sensory friendly rooms, or like quieter spaces, and things like that matter. Even the acknowledgement of that matters.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I will say about Music Nova Scotia too, like the community building stuff that they're doing ahead of like Music Week the last few years, like I wish that like I had that when I started out, like even a few years prior to that. It's so awesome that they're putting together like thrifting trips, and they're doing, you know, like
fun
performance coaching, and they have I think like a clinical therapist or like a social worker coming in to talk about mental health in the music industry. And like couldn't have, you know, come at a better time for me personally to like, you know, learn these tools. It's like, I think they're calling it mental health first aid. And I wish I'd had that. Like that would have been so essential, like even a year ago, you know? And so I hugely appreciate like the programming that they're putting on for this kind of stuff. And like, again, like you said, making the spaces really feel safe and inclusive. And yeah, because like most musicians are somewhere like on the neurodivergence or mental illness like spectrum, and I don't know. So yeah, I think that's like we're trending up for sure.
Are you able to use music or songwriting as a form of therapy, or because it's your job, does that feel different?
No, like I clung to music like in those first, well, I mean, I definitely still am, but I kind of just, when I found out that Henry died, like I kind of dropped everything and just sat in my music room like all day, just like writing songs and just things that will probably never even see the light of day, but like that was for me, and that honestly saved me.
Yeah. How do you find that? Like, do you still turn to music as a form of release or aloneness, or are you able to?
It's always been a thing for sure, where it's been a way to express emotions and feelings and what I'm going through. Like that's what my songs have always been. It's personal things I'm going through, and this is me summing it up in a 3.5 or 4 minute song that has chords and harmonies, but for my whole catalog has always generally been, this is what I'm going through right now, and I'm trying to capture it in a song. Like it's not, I guess,
capturing it and using it as a tool for processing something, in my mind, are two different things.
But it's me writing it is the processing.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I guess people our age, we were never. Your generation's completely different. Like you guys talk about your feelings so openly, and our generation was like, just shut the hell up and
like encourage,
bury
not
that,
to. Yeah,
bury that, you pansy.
Yeah, exactly.
So like you had to find ways to, I guess, to express things, and for me, that's how I did it. It was through music. I guess now a lot of songs are definitely still following that, but like have a concept album about the summer of 1999 in small town Cape Breton, when a local boy falls in love with a tourist girl, and they both have their hearts inevitably broken when she has to return back home. But anyway, like, but I'm leaning into things I would have experienced. That's not so much like processing something in the moment, but you're still touching on things you felt and that you've gone through, and a lot of good emotions too. Like that's a nice thing. Like when you go have a fun experience and like, I want to capture this so someone else can experience it maybe.
Yeah.
So, and that could be, and I love songs that have like huge juxtaposition where it's a really fun sounding song, but lyrically it's maybe the opposite and no one even catches on.
Yes. Like, you're always surprised to find out the song was about something a little darker or deeper. Like, what do you mean? I love dancing to that song.
It's the best trick.
Yeah, it is like a party trick, isn't it?
What, with your new album, I know it's not done, but you obviously have a vision for it and the direction it's going in. Do you know what you want people to feel when they feel, when they hear it, when they experience it?
I love the conviction in that. Yes.
So okay, the first side is all good vibes. So we're talking about thrifting, we're talking about we're sassy with talking about getting love bombed, or we're sassy talking about artists need to get paid better. Like it's a lot of kind of hijinks and fun little tidbits and cute little moments. Like I have I've got Jade and Moira on one of my songs, and that's just about like skipping work on Friday to go have like ciders with your friends and stuff. Like
speaking from experience.
Yeah, it was. It was. And so like the first half, I wanted to feel like we're happy. I'm giving you a warm hug, and I'm telling you like all the things in life that make me happy, or the kind of vision that I maybe see for kind of what I want in my life, and the way that we as artists, I guess, should be treated in some sense. And then the second half is kind of just more exploring loss and grief. So I think there's still that sense of like, you're safe here. That's like these emotions are, as old as time, and like everybody can, point to an experience in their life where they felt, really lost, like I was at that time, and just not sure how to even keep going. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I think everything together is coming, it's kind of coming into a place where you're a little bit older and you know who you are now and you know what you want, and then life still does this stuff to you all the time and just pulls the rug out, and you're kind of in this cycle of like, again, like recalibrating and figuring out, like boiling it down more and more, what does life mean to me and like what matters the most.
Yeah.
So even the more frivolous things, like talking about going to the thrift store and stuff, like all that stuff really matters when you kind of zoom out on the experience of life. It's like creativity, like, you know, again, like fashion even, like, is an artistic kind of realm for a lot of people. And yeah, so I think like just kind of appreciating those things in life has been important for the album. Talking about even on the sad song that I played at the songwriter circle, just the little things that made Henry happy, like just going for a bike ride.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hope I can meet him on that path someday.
Mm.
You know?
What I love about this description is that it's a reminder that we can be more than one thing at the same time.
Yeah.
You can be thrift shopping or skipping work to be with your friends and still have a broken heart in those moments. And we often find ourselves like, you have to be one or the other, or like we assume that's the expectation, but that's not life.
Totally. And like you can look at somebody who, you know, maybe wants to end their life and they still have good days. There are still things to appreciate. And I think, just kind of finding that place where like we can talk about those little things that bring us, you know, all the joy in the world, like this damn sweater. Like, oh my God.
Amazing sweater. Yes.
Nothing makes me happier than that shit. So, and then, kind of coming to find that life really is just about loving people as hard as you can when you can, and enjoying those things as much as you can and being like in those moments. So that's kind of the overall vibe.
Yeah. You started your music education with something I would describe as a bit more rigid, or totally. You've used those words, and now it feels like there is a bit more creative freedom and expression. With those contrasts in mind, what now is your concept of making it?
Making it, I already made it, I think, really, with the, you know, my band, and getting to feel like held and accepted in that way creatively. So I'm good.
Done and done.
Do you have goals? Like, I want to play this stage. I want to sell this many albums or anything like that.
Certainly like cool stages, like, you know, I'd love to play Lighthouse, like locally, or, you know, like I want to travel, like to play, and I want to play big festivals. I do have like some of those more measurable like goals. But in terms of like sales or like playlists, like you know, I just wrote a grant, so I could probably rattle off like all of those kinds of goals. But
what are your bullet points?
What are your SMART goals? But truly, like, I think, you know, when you do your second album, you're like, oh, well, I hope it does better than the first one or whatever. Yeah. But I don't know. I think that when the time comes and when it's out and when I've made all the kind of creative pieces of art surrounding the music as well, like, I'm just going to be proud and like happy and excited. And I think because this project has taken on so much more of a like kind of existential, you know, place in my heart, I don't think I really care that much. Like, of course, yes, I will care if like nobody likes it or whatever, but that's just a given. But like I'm incredibly proud of the work. I'm proud of my, you know, team and the people who helped me make it. And it was just a fun time, honestly, and a hard time and everything in between. So that, to me, like that snapshot of where I'm at right now, like I'm almost 30, like I'm, you know, things are maturing, and like maybe one day life will not be like this. I won't have the freedom and the time to, you never know, right?
Yeah,
like,
I think that's a really important acknowledgement of the life experience in general. Yeah. And you're teaching, like you're passing this on to younger minds already.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. Like sometimes my students will mention like, oh, we listen to your music. And I'm like, no. Did you really? What did you think? But they're so cute. Like sometimes they'll come out to like any of the all ages shows we'll have. Like we played at the library in January, and like Oh my gosh, there were like 5 or 6 of my students there, and they're young.
Yeah,
like,
what
they're
age group are
enjoying.
they?
So I think the youngest that was there was 7, but I teach anywhere from like 4 or 5 to, I guess my oldest student now is just about to turn 15.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have adult students as well, but in terms of like kids, it's kind of anything, and it's also the lessons are whatever they want it to be as well. Like I'm taking that lesson I learned about maybe some of the more like rigid sensibilities in the world of like learning piano.
Yes.
Where, I know I'm not under any illusions that these kids are like going to want to go on necessarily to go to university to play music, or they're not trying to like sell out Carnegie Hall or anything. Like the thing that's most important really is like, how can I help you like unlock what it is about music that's going to give you a lifetime of like enjoyment in this realm. So that is what I do, and I love it so much. It's so cute.
I'm so glad you're being recognized for this
Thank
too.
You.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And you're showcasing at Music Week too?
Yeah,
Great.
we're playing on the 25th at the Arc.
Okay.
Which is at 8:30.
And any other shows coming up in the next couple of months, or anything you want to promote or tell our friends about?
So I suppose like the kind of coolest thing I've ever done is my visual album, which I sent you guys if you have the link. Yeah. And that is kind of a 5-song continuous music video from the songs from Bloom, and kind of telling the story of me, kind of what we touched on, like kind of gaining the confidence and the self kind of realization to go and be in community, be with my band, and make the music that feels like me. And so and we're kind of, shedding some of the stories of the past as well through that video. And so I'm really proud of that. And that's kind of what I'd like to plug, I think, for now. Yeah.
Well, we'll make sure that link is available in the show notes, of course.
You've accomplished so much already. You've got a second album going to come out at some point. You don't know exactly when.
We don't have a date set or anything, but you'll be the first to know.
Okay.
Yeah, we're excited to see this come into the world, because you bring so much joy and good energy and talent. Like when we hear you perform, it's just or listen to your albums now, your recordings, it's just such a beautiful experience, because there's just you're oozing talent there. So it's a beautiful thing, and thanks for putting that back into the world.
Oh, well, thank you for doing the same. It's so nice to be in a room with people like that. And
it was
lovely.
Truly, we were both just very, I know you're not looking for this, but not only were we impressed, but I think we were surprised. And that is a hard thing to experience with art. There's often this pursuit to fit into this world that will equate to something, or we tell ourselves it will. And you're just kind of the antithesis of that, of like, there's something very natural about the way that you present yourself. And I just admire that in you. And we're very fortunate to have you in our space and learn a little bit more of your background and story. So thank you for opening up and being here with us today.
Thank you both so much. This is just a joy.
Good.
Yeah, best of luck with everything to come, and we'll be keeping track and following your journey, and excited to see where it all goes.
Yeah. Avery Dakin, friends, check her out. Follow this journey. We put all the links in the show notes.
Much love, buds.
Make It with Mike and Kristen is recorded and produced by Michael S. Ryan at Hot Jupiter Sounds.
Intro and outro music by me as well.
Cover art by Emily Rankin at Take Note Graphic Design, and photography by Candace Moore.
If you cool cats want to help us out, the best way to spread the word is by telling a friend about us. Tell your mom, tell all your buds. Word of mouth is still the best way to reach people. It's free for you and helps us immensely. And if you're into it, you can like and subscribe and all that stuff too.
Another way to support us is through our Patreon. We have a number of super fun tiers and perks like bonus content, handwritten postcards, creative coaching, and so much more. Find us at patreon.com/Mike and Kristen.
For the makers, the dreamers, and the figuring it outers, have fun trying to make it out there, friends.